Good morning, YouTube. Hopefully you are all good and doing well as always, and welcome to what I believe is episode 10 of The Cut. It will say it on the title, I'm not 100% sure. I think I'm now 13 to 14 weeks in. Today, I have woken up at 6:30, which is a lovely lie-in in comparison to say like the 4:30 starts or the 5 a.m. starts that I usually have during the office week. And I'm going to take you with me to the gym for a leg day and then take you through my day. And I'm also going to go into things in a little bit more depth than what I normally would. So like my nutrition and everything like that, especially around sort of like the weekends, because I think that recently these vlogs have been a little bit surface level in terms of like what I'm doing, why I'm doing it and everything like that, and I want them to be a little bit more in depth, to be a little bit more valuable to you. So we're going to go through all of that, but that's going to be later on. Firstly, let's go to the gym. Gym session is all done, business as usual. Whenever I say business as usual, it always makes me think of, have you seen the thing that's like super fat families or something, and it's the woman and she's like, don't bring me the little bag of Fiscos, bring me the whole big bag. You know, business as usual. That's exactly what I think of. The session was really solid, very happy with it. The only thing that was a mild annoyance was I couldn't do split squats because my knee was hurting, and I really tried to work around it, but I couldn't. And I'm now in a position, so I woke up this morning and I was like 70.9, I think. Yesterday I was 70.6 kilos. So I've nearly lost 10 kilos now from the start, which is pretty good going, because one thing that you need to consider is when you're cutting, it's very different from just overall weight loss in terms of you are trying to preserve as much lean body mass, so muscle mass as possible, and lose fat at the same time. I could go more aggressive, but you're then at a point that you're probably going to be losing a little bit more muscle mass as you go through, and then you look slightly worse at the end of the diet. That's also why it's very important to keep training to a good standard, training nice and hard and everything like that as well. So I think that the majority of the weight that I've probably lost is fat, and I'm now in a position that I'm really starting to like how I look. This is probably going to be last week I did feel quite flat and quite small. Now that week is sort of past, I still feel quite flat because carbs are really low. Like my food has been a little bit lower this last week as well, which I'll get onto very shortly. But the fact that I'm seeing sort of like veins coming through, I'm really seeing that like my abs are coming through much more, my lower back is. I'm also noticing like just within my muscles, like I'm noticing more definition and everything like that. It is genuinely addictive and so nice to see, really. I know that I've still got, I reckon, probably like 5-6 kilos to lose before I'm probably going to be done with this diet, to be honest. But I'm happy with the position that I'm currently in. And when you see these changes, it really makes like all the hunger, all the sacrifice and all the steps and everything like that worth it. Like, of course, it's hard work, but if I can work through this point in time with low food and everything like that, I'm only going to see more and more changes, as I've said before, and I'm just, yeah, like happy with how I'm looking. Now I'm gonna go and crack on with some steps to get some boxed off. Right, I am back home and I'm just about to show you through the diet side of things and explain the plan of action for today. But before I do, I wanted to show you my newest purchase. I bought this yesterday and it is the England top for this year. I think this is possibly the nicest England kit that we've ever made since I've literally been alive, right? This is meant to cost 90 quid. It's actually really, really nice. Like, it's got good detail to it and everything like that. Bit ridiculously expensive, really. I've literally, in my whole entire life, I've never bought an England top. I'm probably not going to buy one again for ages. So I thought, you know what, why not just splash the cash? Now all I need to do is have a pitbull tattoo and a Stella in hand. Now that I am back home, as I say, I am going to be thinking about my diet. So this morning, as you would have seen, I had my overnight oats. And what I'm going to do now is something that I would recommend to literally every client, but also to you too. I always try and pre-track my food at the start of the day or towards the start of the day so that I know exactly what I'm going to be having, can make sure it fits my macros, can make sure it fits my calories and all that sort of stuff. So I'm just about to do that. And then I'll tell you sort of like what the plan of action is, where things align and what this next meal is going to be. So I've literally just gone and pre-tracked it. It has taken me 2 minutes to do. The more you do it, the more fluent you're going to get with it, the easier it gets and everything like that. But I've gone and pre-tracked. I'll show what my macros are going to be. It's like nearly 200 grams worth of protein, my carbs and my fats. I've actually found through this diet that for me, going slightly lower on carbs but higher in fats is actually really helping with just sort of like not feeling miserable. Sure, I'm sacrificing food volume a little bit, but previously I've gone like as high as possible with carbs and low as possible pretty much with fat. And I felt a little bit shit in terms of like my mood and everything like that. So I found that doing it the opposite way this time, sure means I have less carbs, so I'm a little bit less sort of full and everything like that. But I do feel significantly happier. Now, having said that, the next meal is going to be cream of rice and protein powder, just because it's very easy and I have it most days. And although I'm not sort of like the biggest fan of it in the whole wide world, it is nice and chocolatey, feels like a little bit of a treat. And then for the rest of the meals for today, I'll show you through them. But whilst I show you me making my cream of rice, I've explained this in previous videos, but I think that one of the most important things for being able to stick to a diet on the weekend, because today is a Saturday. I mean, obviously it's easier for me today because I'm not being sort of like social or going out and about. But one of the most important things is making sure that Monday through to Friday, you aren't hating what you're eating whilst you're at work. What I find is a lot of people, Monday through to Friday, almost make themselves miserable with a diet. So then on the Saturday and Sunday, they end up like binge eating things that are really tasty and all that sort of stuff because they need a break from like just the miserableness of it. Whereas with myself, I like literally every meal that I have. Cream of rice, as I say, I'm not the biggest fan of, but other than that, I'm pretty much really enjoy most meals. And through finding things that I really like and don't have to sort of like rebel against on the weekend, it just means that I can be so much more consistent with things on the weekend. I'm generally, and obviously the more consistent you can be on the weekend, the quicker you see progress overall. Hello, it's been a couple hours since I last spoke to you because I've been doing work, but Arsenal are literally just about to kick off in like 4 minutes time. So I need to get that up. Let's get the team news up. We've got Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Lewis Skelly, Zubamendi, Rice, Havertz, Madueke, Martinelli, Gyökeres. Can't really complain about that. I actually really like Kai Havertz. I think he's a bit like hit and miss, but I just really actually like him. I don't know why. I obviously want us to win because then we'll go 12 points ahead. So that'll be really solid. But basically my plan is I'm going to be watching this whilst I'm editing up a video that I need to do. And then once I do that, I'm probably going to watch the second half whilst doing some steps, because I think I'm only sat at like 4.5k steps at the moment. I've got 10k to do. And that way I can just sort of kill two birds with one stone. And also you might have noticed that I'm now in a different room to what I was before. So when I was full-time coaching and just coaching, I was actually like working out of my bedroom. Because Erin's moved in, I have actually been able to move up to the spare room with my desk. So I mean, I've just got like this random chair in here and stuff, but so much nicer, so much better, so that I can just focus on work whilst I'm in here. Anyway, I'm gonna miss the kickoff. So Arsenal just got a penalty. We're 1-0 down right now, but we've literally just got a penalty and it is a definite pen. There's no way that this gets discounted, surely. Oh, it has been given. What a time to be alive. Oh my God. I've never been more nervous. This is probably the most important Arsenal penalty of my life so far, of my 24 years of being alive. Yes, he scored! What a man. What a time to be alive. Now that he's done that, I'm still in the process of editing this video right now.
I'm now 15 weeks into my mission to become both the leanest in the office and get into the best shape of my life for the summer. And whilst I am going to show you the current physique very shortly...
We've just lost 2-1 to Bournemouth. And my weekend has been ruined already. What a fucking... We were literally so bad and so nervous. I cannot believe it. I've been doing work throughout the second half, so I've not gone and done my steps, but I'm going to go out now because I need to get a little bit less gutted and a little bit less upset about things. I still think that we'll win the league. We've just made it more interesting. I genuinely think that tomorrow City could go to Chelsea and not necessarily win, so... It's just the fact that we looked so bad. So annoying, man. As you would have seen, I have already had sort of my main meal for today. I went out with my dad for a bit of a walk and we went and got tons of steps in. So I think I'm at like 11.5k steps now. And I came back and I was really hungry. So because I'd already pre-tracked my food, instead of having what I was planning on having for lunch, I've actually had dinner for lunch and I'm going to be having my lunch for dinner. And it was like 150 grams of chicken breast, 150 grams of lamb, bag of rice, and then a little bit of mushrooms and also some broccoli as well. I don't actually like mushrooms if I'm not on a diet, but I don't know why. When I am on a diet, I really like them. You'll notice that, as I say, there's a decent amount of veg within that. There's also going to be a decent amount of veg with my meal later on as well. And it's because at this point in time, in this point of the diet, my food is around about sort of 2,200 calories, which for me is relatively low because I'm doing quite a lot of activity and everything like that. So I really need to make sure that to try and sort of make dieting as easy as possible, I want to be having as much sort of food volume as possible. And therefore I'm having more veg, like it's realistically like barely any calories for like, especially green leafy veg as well. And mushrooms in particular are like basically no calories. What you might find is at this stage where you have quite a lot less food, what can happen sometimes is it can mask how much fat loss you're actually seeing, because if you're eating all this food, your digestion's a bit all over the place, your weight is going to be elevated because you've basically not gone to the toilet, and therefore from having better digestion, it helps to not mask sort of the weight loss that you might be seeing. If you do struggle with digestion, my biggest sort of tips for it would be, as I say, making sure that you're getting like plenty of fiber and plenty of veg in within your diet. Also make sure that you're nice and hydrated, and also make sure that you're having plenty of salt as well. Just salt, like most of the meals that you have. This will help with overall sort of hydration, and that will massively help with digestion as well. But I think that's probably enough talk of digestion now. I'm not sure what I'm going to be up to. Might be going to the pub. We'll see.
Morning, YouTube.
It's the next day and I wanted to give a bit of a debrief of last night. I went to go and see my mates. I had to go and buy them some beers and take it to them. I didn't drink or anything like that. I had a bottle of water, but I was tactical because they were going to be having a Chinese. So I ate I ate some of my food before leaving, which was like my chicken mince and my veg, and then left myself a tiny bit for when I came back because I knew that I would be hungry when I came back. And so I ate that when I got back. And also that's something that you can do with like, say like with social events, if you are on a diet. I know obviously this isn't the nicest thing in the whole wide world. Sometimes it's quite useful to have like a protein shake or something like that beforehand. It can really help like you feeling much less hungry, so you don't just go and order like shit tons of food just for the sake of it and then like binge it and then feel terrible afterwards. And it almost helps you to sort of regulate your appetite a little bit. But having said that, that is the end of the vlog. Well, the cut update. Erin and I are going to go and have a lovely coffee this morning. And then because it's Sunday, I've got to crack on with check-ins. And I also am going to be watching the City and Chelsea game later. And I'm very much hoping, we're both hoping, aren't we,
yeah,
that Chelsea somehow smash it. But they've been shit, so I don't imagine they will. But thank you very much for watching. Follow me on Instagram by the link in the description. If you train early in the mornings, there's also a link in the description for a free guide that you need to actually look like you go to the gym. And like and subscribe. And adios and hasta. There we go. I feel like a proper YouTuber doing that.